Still another month of basketball, but softball starts on Friday, and Jane Worthington is here to talk about the softball team picked in a tight race in preseason against Jacksonville State and Austin Peay to win the OVC. You won the regular season last year, lost to JSU in the tournament, and you've got a lot of your returners back, so I know you're excited about this season, Jane.
We are. We only lost 2 players from last season, but they were 2 very, very important players, 2 key players. We brought in 7, I believe, so I'm hoping that between those 7 we can make up for the 2 that we lost.
And you go to last season and you look at your home run rate and your slugging percentage rate, it was among the top teams in the nation. Are those the areas you have to deal with the most, or are there other areas you hope to shore up?
Well, I think that softball is just overall, we'll just go with what we have and what's working for us. Now, we lost 30 home runs with the players that did graduate, but we hit almost 90. So even if we end up hitting 70, that would be still an incredible year, and that makes so that I don't have to do quite as much coaching.
Right. And so the way softball works is you play these round-robin tournaments, sometimes playing a team twice in a weekend. You play 4 weekend tournaments or round-robins before you get home, and then another one. So you get a lot of softball in here in the month of February and March.
And that's key. And that's what we do is we leave on Thursday most of the time, play Friday, Saturday, Sundays. Some weekends we'll get 4, some weekends we'll get 5 games in. But for right now, it really is all about just getting some experience. I know last year we started off a little bit slow and then, turned it on mid-season and towards the end of the year. You were in the National Invitational Tournament last year, won your region here, got to California. What did that experience mean for you? Well, I think that it was a lot of fun, for one, but then postseason experience is going to definitely help us, I think, going into the OVC tournament this year. And then our goal, now that we've achieved that, we absolutely want to get to the NCAAs this year.
You were 45-21 last year. That's a record set for EKU. The Jacksonville State team is very good. Austin Peay got some first place votes as well. Do you see those as the 3 teams that should be challenging for the conference title?
They will be. Jacksonville State's always going to be right at the top. That's just the way it is. They've got the weather, they've got good players, they've got good coaching, they've got the support. They're always going to be tough to beat. They do come to our place this year, which I think may help a little bit. And then as far as the other contenders, Austin Peay will be good. They have quite a few returning. But SIUE will be right there. Eastern Illinois will be right there. Our conference has just gotten so much better over the years.
Your pitching, you have your top pitcher coming back. You've also brought in a transfer, correct?
That's correct. We have all of our pitching coming back, plus we added 1 more. The transfer that we did bring in transferred here from Kentucky, Bethany Todd. She's from Versailles. And she has become a much, much better pitcher since she's gotten here. And I like her work ethic, and I think we're going to see some good things from her, in addition to what we already have. And we had a pretty strong pitching staff to begin with.
It's nice to have pitching in softball, isn't it?
It's everything.
Makes the coach better,
yes,
doesn't it?
It's everything.
You have started this program. You have to feel so good about where it's come from its infancy. And I know getting back to that NCAA would be a cherry on the sundae, wouldn't it?
That's our goal. It was fun to win 45 games or whatever we did last year, but it was still a disappointment at the end of this year because we wanted to be at the NCAAs. So that's what our goal is, and that's what we're working for.
Excited about it. We'll see you out at Gertrude Hood Field. Eventually, March 9th, you'll finally be at home,
yeah,
right?
I'll be here soon.
All right. When we come back here on Inside EKU Sports, we'll stay on the diamond and talk to a former colonel who had a long run keeping a superstar healthy in Cal Ripken. That from the EKU Hall of Fame when we return.
Every day is a concept that few people can commit to. Every day requires a level of dedication that forces you to test your limits.
Every day I'll give back to the community because I draw strength from their support. Every day the sounds of your cheers will echo through my mind. Knowing that you have my back means I can always look forward.
Every day I'll be too tired to sweat and my bones will ache. Every day will provide me with the slight edge that I need to succeed. Champions are built every day.
Listen up. If you're a tobacco user, I've got one word for you. Quit. Quit. And I'm not just talking about smoking either. I'm talking about vaping. I'm talking about chewing or whatever. Now, nobody says quitting is gonna be easy, but I'm here to tell you, you can do it. You just have to believe in yourself. If you need help, talk to the folks over at Quit Now, Kentucky. For help quitting, text QUIT KY to 797979.
Former EKU assistant trainer Richie Bancells goes into the EKU Athletics Hall of Fame. And Richie, you've had a great career. It was all with the Orioles of Major League Baseball, but the one thing that everybody likes to talk about is you started in Bluefield, West Virginia. And there was a player that started at the same time. You guys moved up through the organization. So talk about that.
Yeah, Cal Ripken's first day on the job was my first day on the job, and he had just gotten drafted out of high school. I can tell you he didn't look anything then like he looked in the big leagues. He was still a gangly kind of kid growing up and that. But yeah, I was lucky to spend my entire career, or his entire career, with him all the way through the major leagues and all the things he did and break the record, and we're still friends to this day.
So as he got promoted, you were promoted.
Yeah, it's kind of, during the minor leagues we kind of skipped sometimes now and then. But because I went from Bluefield to AAA, and then he caught up, and then we got in the big leagues, and we're together the whole time.
It had to be a big part of your life to know you were part of his record to break Lou Gehrig's record of how many games played consecutively.
Well, the thing I say, and I said this last night to a class of athletic trainers here, that I think every athletic trainer should have the good fortune to have a player like Cal with them in their career. The other thing is, if you had a player like that, or all 25 players were like that, you wouldn't have a job. He was great. You know, he just was a different kind of guy. He was great to work with. He did anything you needed when he had an injury. And there were a few scares along the way in terms of the streak and that. But yeah, what a tremendous guy.
You wouldn't have been with the Baltimore Orioles and had the success without your foundation here at EKU, and you worked under the legendary Bobby Barton. You were part of that team in 1979 that won the national championship. And that was my first year doing play-by-play. You go back and look at that year and what it meant to everybody. What did it mean to you?
Well, you know what, it's funny, you don't realize, Greg, those things until later in your career and that. But what I found out that I learned here, not only did Bobby Barton prepare me for athletic training at that kind of level, and I felt like I was well prepared, but you know, being around Coach Kidd and some of the coaches here and the success the football team and the other athletic teams were having, you kind of learned about leadership, winning, what winning looked like, and what good athletes looked like. And I kind of took that with me as I went on down the road. Didn't realize it at the time, certainly realized it later. You're also inducted after you retired, into the Orioles Hall of Fame. That had to be quite an honor. Oh, yeah, it's tremendous. I mean, it surprised me. I went in with a shortstop that we had for a long time, Mike Bordick, and we're also good friends. And it just, I mean, whenever something like that happens, you never expect it, but God, what a joy to be included with a group of people that are in that Hall of Fame. We talked about the EKU National Championship in Orlando, Florida. I would assume that is the one game that sticks out in your EKU career. Oh, no question. I mean, that was the pinnacle. You know, I mean, it was such a joyous thing and a big thing to be a part of. You know, again, you learn what winning looks like. You know, and you learn what the leadership of Roy Kidd looked like. Mm-hmm. One memory with the Orioles that sticks out among all others? Again, it kind of goes back to Cal, and the interesting thing, it was kind of off the field. I mean, obviously the postseason stuff and having worked all-star games were great. But when Cal Ripken went into the Hall of Fame in Cooperstown, I was one of 7 people that he mentioned in his acceptance speech, both on a professional and personal level. I was just overwhelmed by that, without a question. Well-deserved. Richie, congratulations on your induction. Thank you, Greg. All right, Richie Bancells now in the EKU Athletics Hall of Fame.
At Eastern Kentucky University, we recognize greatness starts in the classroom, but it doesn't end there. You have to get hands-on, get real-world experience, and discover who you are meant to be. Be a rising star. Be a hero. Be a colonel. See what you can be. Visit go.eku.edu/colonel.
Take it from me, quitting tobacco isn't easy. It can take several attempts before you can finally quit for good. So if at first you don't succeed, quit. Quit again. And remember, even though quitting is hard, you don't have to do it alone. Quit Now Kentucky is with you every step of the way. For free help quitting tobacco, text QUIT KY to 797979 or go to quitnowkentucky.org.
We talk Eastern Kentucky basketball now with head coach A.W. Hamilton. A pair of games at home as we have 8 left in the OVC. A couple of tough losses on the road against Eastern Illinois and SIU Edwardsville, and we've played a lot of one-possession games in the last minute this year.
Yeah, they were both tough. Eastern Illinois, we got the ball in the best, maybe the best player in Eastern Kentucky basketball history, and takes it right to the basket and misses the shot. Then we still get another chance with Kelvin Robinson. With 2 seconds, we somehow maneuver and get the ball all the way down the floor, and he misses a 7-8 foot shot right at the buzzer. So proud of our guys. They didn't quit. They battled to the very end. It was a heartbreaker, and then we turned around against SIUE, and we're up 3 with 9 seconds to go, and you got to give them credit. They hit a tough shot in the corner to send it to overtime. And, we just couldn't close the game out and had opportunities. We missed a dunk, Trey King, that was critical in the game. And again, we had opportunities to win it and just couldn't close the game out. So there was 2 tough losses for us.
Eastern Kentucky has had 3 game winners at the buzzer, and I charted the one-possession games in the final minute. You're 5-6 in those games, but 2-4 in the OVC. Learning lessons from this. What do you think in that last minute with crunch time there does your team need to do better, and what have you been pleased with?
There's a lot of things. I think going into those one-possession games, we got to make our free throws better. So we've missed timely free throws that have hurt us. And our execution has been pretty good. We've most of the time had the ball in Nick's hands with an opportunity for him to score the basketball. And sometimes you make them, sometimes you don't. But I'm proud of our guys. It's hard because these guys, they work so hard and they want to win. And and I told everybody when I got here that nobody in the country would outwork us, and I stand behind that. Nobody's outworking these guys. That's why it's so hard when we lose these games, because the effort and the preparation these guys are putting into it. So we got to continue to grow, and I thought Eastern Illinois, I thought we grew because, listen, we missed a huge box out at the end of the game, and that's a freshman, Jamal Brown, and then he commits a foul to put Wallace on the free throw line, and he makes both free throws. Obviously, he's a really good player, closes games out for them, but he grew. And sometimes when you're playing young guys, you got to live with some mistakes early on. So I think we are growing, and we're going to be in more one-possession games. That's just how it's happened for us this year. I hate it. I don't want to be in them. It's hard, Stotts.
Yeah.
But
it's hard on the old announcer.
Yeah,
too.
but we keep finding a way to get into them. But we're in those games, and we're going to keep battling.
All right, so you have 2 this week at home. A very good Belmont team, coached by a guy that very soon should be in the College Basketball Hall of Fame, and Rick Byrd. And they've got a great player in Dylan Windler, 6'8" wing, and you look at his numbers. OVC Player of the Week, 23 points, 14.5 rebounds last week, leads the conference in rebounding. They scored a bunch on you in the first half, and then you guys played really well in the second half in a loss, 109-93 in Nashville earlier this year.
Windler's really good. We got to do a better job. All of us, all of our guys got to guard him. He got lost in transition and got some easy baskets on us. And when he gets going, he's hard to stop. But they played lights out the first half when we played him at Belmont. Then in the second half, they kind of came back to reality a little bit. But, we got to be ready for a fight. They got a really good team, arguably the best team in this league.
And you mentioned missed free throws. Tennessee State, that's what got you. You hit about half of them. You had a 12-point lead. They hit a big shot late, and then you guys couldn't close out on the last possession. So, one, you want to get back as well against TSU on Saturday?
Absolutely. And listen, we're excited to play at home. We played 10 conference games, and we've only played 2 in McBrayer.
Right.
So we're fired up about the end of our season coming up here. We got 5 of our next 8 in McBrayer, so that's exciting for us.
All right, good luck this weekend, Coach.
Thanks, Tots.
A lot of EKU basketball action coming up at Alumni Coliseum. It's a women's men's doubleheader on Thursday. Belmont, women tip at 5, men at 7:30, and then on Saturday we move everything up a half hour against TSU. Women tip at 4:30 and the man tip at 7. Hope to see you out at the Coliseum. We'll have the coverage at 100.7 FM on the TuneIn app, also streamed live at EKUsports.com, and coverage with the video on ESPN+. Coming up next, Ben Thoms. He runs the hurdles for the EKU track team.
We are more than just athletes. We inspire scholars. We inspire leaders. We inspire champions. We inspire family. This is the Ohio Valley Conference.
We talk track and field now with Ben Thoms. He's a hurdler on the men's track team, and I guess I've got to ask, why that discipline of all that you could pick in track and field?
Hurdles, it's just something, I've been doing it. My dad used to be a hurdler from day one, I guess, but yeah, he's trained me, and it just ended up being one of my favorite events. It's
a running event with obstacles in the way. How important is it? Is timing the most important thing? Is it a concentration sport more than anything?
Timing is important, concentration. You got to be focused in your lane and everything. You don't want to be focused on anybody else. But yeah, if one wrong step could throw off your entire race. So perfection is definitely key.
You got a bronze medal in the indoors last year, and we're heading towards the indoors this year in the OVC. So indoors a little different than outdoors, a shorter distance at 60 meters.
Yeah, the start of the race is everything, out of the blocks for 60 hurdles, and ultimately the 60 hurdles get you ready for outdoor in the 110s.
I talked to Coach Corey Erdman the other day, and he said after a big win for the team in the OVC indoors last year, you're gunning to do it again. So every event counts. Do you feel that team pressure?
Every event does count. I mean, the pressure, I don't think we feel much pressure. I think we're doing all right, and we got a lot of new guys coming in too, and that are stepping up and doing even other events that they're not used to, so I think we're all right.
In the outdoor, you have the 110 and the 400-meter hurdles, and then the 4x4 as well. Which event of all do you like, the 60 indoors or something outdoors?
Outdoors for sure. 110s has got to be my favorite.
For the 400, a little too far. In other words, you feel like the 110's in your wheelhouse?
Yeah, for sure. But 400 hurdles, I mean, that's kind of in my bag too. I got that.
Off the track, you are in ROTC, so man, you've got to be busy. Your college academic load, ROTC, track and field. Tell me about the choice to also be in ROTC.
It's definitely a busy schedule, but the ROTC, the program's great. I'm loving it, and it's all about leadership. That's the ROTC's main focus is leadership, and I think that transfers over in everything in track. Wanting to be a firefighter, leadership is a good trait to have.
So major is based on your future goal of being a firefighter? Tell me about that.
I've wanted to be a firefighter because of my grandfather. So for a long time, I've kind of had that set that I wanted to be a firefighter. I've seen how they help people and the respect they get. So it's kind of my thing.
Out of Plainfield, Illinois, how did you end up at EKU, and what's it meant so far? And you're a sophomore, so still a ways to go, but what's it meant to be a colonel?
It's been great. I love everything about here, the campus, just the family and the support and everything that I get. it's just been a great experience so far.
In a couple of weeks, those indoors come up. What are you pointing to as far as your individual accomplishments in the indoors?
Definitely trying to be at the top of the podium for the 60 hurdles and even the 4x4 and the DMR and all the other events that I might be doing.
Okay, great to meet you, Ben. Good luck the rest of the track season.
Thank you.
Ben Thoms with the EKU men's track and field team, and that does it for another edition of Inside EKU Sports. You can keep up with Colonel Athletics on all of our social media platforms. Until we see you again next week, as always, go Big E.